I started my sophomore year off crazier than you can even imagine. I'd intercept this pass and run like my life depended on it. I knew if I got caught, my teammates would clown me for the rest of my career. So thankfully, I only had to beat a couple of linemen and their running back, and I'd bring it all the way for the touchdown. I had a pretty damn successful freshman year. Getting named All-American as a freshman was a crazy honor, but our team didn't really live up to the hype. We were ranked pretty highly last year to start off, and after losing a couple of close games, it felt like everyone around the country just kind of forgot about us. So going into this year, we started off ranked 22nd in the country, much lower than I expected. And I knew our offense was going to struggle all year if we could only put 17 points up on UL Monroe. So it was going to be important that our defense would carry us. Thankfully, I had some incredible teammates on that side of the ball. Week 2 was another tune-up game, this time against the FCS opponent. As the middle linebacker, I took it upon myself to be the leader of this defense. And the only right way to lead was by leading by example. So I was bringing the boom ski anytime that I could. And I took great joy in hurting children, especially when they came over the middle. We were already up by 3 touchdowns in the first half against this much lesser opponent. But that didn't mean we could take the foot off the gas. I saw the opening and took advantage for this sack, my first of the season. And I guess this quarterback didn't learn his lesson. I'd hit him so hard I could hear his mama screaming from the stands. Or maybe that was my mama saying football's the devil. Anyways, I thought I was going to get an interception on this play and continue my streak, but it looked like it wasn't going to happen. Even though I was an All-American, I wasn't too big for special teams. And remember how I said that interception wasn't looking likely? Yeah, scratch that. I had my second interception in as many games, as I celebrated with my teammates on the sideline, but I knew the real party was going to be with Vicky Valancourt after the game. We were finally taking on a real opponent in week 3, and real in the SEC means something different. These guys came to play, and late in the first quarter, they'd be the first team to put points up on the board, going up 7-0 on us. Our offense quickly answered though, and we were all tied up, and it felt like this was going to be a back and forth game. After a big stop, our offense got the ball in pretty good field position and would drive down and score the go-ahead touchdown. And after that first quarter touchdown that we let up, our defense was swarming to the football, which led to this extremely bizarre play where the quarterback looked like he was down, but somehow popped up, and I'd be able to bring him down for the sack. I mean, it was weird, but I'm going to take credit for that one. However, we would turn the ball over a couple plays later, and Mississippi State would have it just before the half, and would complete it down deep in my zone. And if I took credit for the good, I had to take credit for the bad. So this touchdown was on me. In the second half, however, our offense started to bail me out, and we put together touchdown drives in the third and fourth quarters, pulling away late as we were getting ready for an even tougher opponent in number 22 Tennessee. After holding Mississippi State to just 14 points last week, I wasn't sure that we were going to do the same to Tennessee, but we had a great goal line stand here, forcing them to a field goal. But the very next time they got down to our goal line, they'd be able to punch it in and take the lead. However, again in the fourth quarter, our offense would take over, and I saw my opportunity to take out the ACL of the Tennessee quarterback. I mean, this had to be illegal, and I couldn't believe that they actually completed it. But with one final chance to try and extend this game, I'd sniff out the screen pass and stop it, extending our win streak to 4 games. We were in the swamp taking on 7th ranked Florida, and I started this game off with a bang. I hit the quarterback so hard he shit himself and fumbled the ball at the same time. We was all going crazy after that play, and it felt like we had enough momentum, but even with the great field position, our offense would have to settle for a field goal after this Florida sack. But the next time Florida touched the ball, I'd stop them on 3rd down again, giving our offense another chance for points, but we just kept kicking field goals. We were in a close SEC battle, and after I ran through this kid, I stepped over him like Allen Iverson. Florida was far from out of this game, because on 3rd and 4, they'd convert and get more than just a first down. However, after our 3rd field goal of the game, we were up by 2 possessions, and this fumble by Florida would seal it. After beating the number 7 team in the country on the road, we would move all the way up to 6th, and we had an out-of-conference game against Cal, as we traveled to Northern California to take on the Golden Bears. But I think we were sleeping on this 1-5 Cal team, because they'd complete this long touchdown pass to go up 2 scores. We were fighting and clawing our way back into this game, and this sack might have been the turning point. And the very next play, I find an opening in the offense's protection and go for another quarterback's ACL. This time the pressure would affect them, and we found ourselves tied going into the 4th quarter. Again, our offense showed up when it needed to most. After going up by 7, they would convert 2 big-time 3rd downs, which would eventually lead to us putting up another touchdown on the board, and we were up by 2 scores. My second sack of the game was pretty much just icing on the cake. Maybe red velvet, double chocolate, vanilla? Damn, what about ice cream cake? Wait, what were we talking about? That's right, we would avoid the upset. Coastal Carolina was honestly kind of trash, and our defense was having a field day with them. And our offense was lighting up the scoreboard too. We were up by 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. I was kind of feeling myself, and at this point, I felt like we shouldn't even be playing schools outside of the SEC. And if they were going to be out of conference, they need to beat teams like Ohio State or USC. And in the fourth quarter of this game, not like it mattered much. It was 4th and 7, and I'd be able to jump the running back's route and get my 3rd interception of the season. We would be the number 2 team in the country after this one. Texas A&M was the challenge that this team needed. They were arguably the most talented of the teams that we had faced so far. And after we held them to a field goal on this possession, our offense decided to go for it on 4th and inches but wouldn't be able to convert. So we were still down. But even though the offense wasn't producing, we were doing a good job on defense. And I thought that I was going to be able to bait the quarterback here and get this interception, but at least we held him to a punt. The offense got the ball back and got it all the way inside the 20-yard line, but ultimately had to settle for a field goal. So going into the half, we were tied. By the fourth quarter, A&M was up by 3, and this 3rd down stop was huge to give us a chance. The offense started putting together a masterful drive, starting off with this tunnel screen that'd get them past the 50, and our tight end decided to go beast mode and started running through all these tackles, but unfortunately we had to settle for a field goal, so it was all tied at 6. A&M had the ball and they started driving and would look deep on this play, completing it, getting all the way inside the 20. They would end up scoring the go-ahead touchdown, and we would have our first loss of the season, and we had an even tougher opponent next week. This was America's game of the week, as we were hosting number 3 ranked Alabama in the rain. After losing to Texas A&M last week, and in the process losing our number 2 ranking, there was a slim chance that we were going to be able to make it to the national championship. But we just had to make sure to control what we can control, and if we could win out, there was still a chance. Alabama actually recruited me coming out of high school, and they would have been the school that I went to if I didn't want to stay in state in Louisiana. Nick Saban offered me so much NIL money that mama thought that maybe foosball really ain't the devil. After Alabama took the lead, I had to try and make a difference in this game. Our offense would be knocking at Alabama's doorsteps and would eventually be able to score, giving us the lead again, but it definitely wasn't safe, because no matter how many tackles I made, Alabama just kept finding their way down the field and would take the lead just before the fourth quarter. So it was all up to our offense at this point with less than 2 minutes to go, and this completion would put us inside the 20. We would find Kashawn Bout in the back of the end zone for the game, and you could tell number 5 right there ain't play a lick. His jersey way too clean. I started this game off against Ole Miss with another interception. At this point we were already up 7-0, so this pick would put us in prime position to go and score again, and I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that our offense was going to be able to get a touchdown, and that's exactly what they'd be able to do. At this point we were already up 14-0, and I baited the quarterback to throw to this tight end so I could absolutely annihilate him. But just when it looked like we were in complete control of this game, the Ole Miss receiver would catch it and make us look like some absolute fools on his way to a touchdown. They scored again in the 3rd, and it was a 3-point game going into the 4th quarter as I gave my teammate a concussion. Our offense came up clutch in the 4th and would throw this screen for a touchdown, extending the lead back to 10. Ole Miss got the ball back and they needed to score on this possession. I would blow up the QB on this play, and on the very next critical 4th and 7, I'd sniff out the screen and tackle the running back for a loss, escaping with another win. The QB had way too much time to just sit back there and pat the ball, so I left my zone to go pressure him, and I think I just did enough because our DB will be able to get the interception. That was a huge turnover to stop Auburn from getting any points on the board. But as much as we were doing our thing on defense, eventually they would find a chink in our armor and would connect on a long touchdown pass. Our offense did a good job of answering in the 3rd quarter, and I was one-on-one with the running back on 3rd and goal as he'd run an angle route, and he almost slipped past me, but I'd be able to tackle him and force a field goal. After making this 3rd down stop, we found ourselves in overtime, and after trading field goals in the first OT, Auburn would score this touchdown to go up. Our offense would push things to a 3rd OT with this touchdown, and after we settled for a field goal, this 3rd down stop would force Auburn to kick one of their own, going to a 4th overtime. Our offense said enough is enough, and our running back would take this handoff and take it down the right sideline for the game-winning score. We lost this game last year against Arkansas for the boot. We were a much better team than last year, and all we had to do was get out of this game scot-free and we'd get to the SEC championship. And believe it or not, I was a non-factor in this game, as I'd get my first tackle with just a couple minutes left in the game, but my teammates did a good job holding it down. We were in the SEC championship game against the number 4 ranked team in the country, Kentucky, and the winner of this game was going to go to the national championship, and our offense was playing better than they have all season long, putting up 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. We were dominating them in the first half of the SEC championship, and when their quarterback tried to run, I hit him like Sean Taylor hit that punter in the Pro Bowl game. But Kentucky wasn't going to go down without a fight, and this long completion was going to put them in good position to go and cut this lead. I knew I needed to do more than I did in the Arkansas game, so I stepped it up, and so did the offense, as they converted this big time 3rd and 7 for a touchdown. On 3rd and 12, the Kentucky QB would get hit as he threw it, and the ball would just fall right into my hands, as I'd pick it off and run it all the way back for my second pick 6 of the season, essentially clinching our appearance in the national championship game. But just to put salt in the wound, I would smack this guy, and he'd fumble it, and we would raise the SEC championship trophy up, a goal that we had when this season just started. It was safe to say that I had a better year than my All-American season last year, and I got rewarded with the Bednarik and Butkus awards, as well as first team All-American. I was in the biggest game of my life, taking on Cincinnati in the national championship game. I set the tone early on, making this tackle on special teams, but Cincinnati would get the first laugh with this touchdown. But everybody knows it's all about who gets the last laugh. And after giving up that early first score, our defense did a good job of digging in and forcing a fumble on the Cincinnati quarterback. But our offense would sputter and would take a sack on this 3rd and 12, so we had to settle for a field goal. But after a quick 3 and out, we found ourselves back at the goal line. This touchdown was great, but we missed the extra point, so when Cincinnati kicked this field goal, they took the lead. Our offense would answer, and the defense needed to step up, and there was no bigger time to do that. The receiver would run right into the flat where the corner was waiting, blow him up, and we'd recover it and take it all the way for a touchdown. And you let me know what you think about this play. Did he make a football move, and was this a fumble, or should have this been called incomplete? But I didn't care either way, because we were holding up that national championship, starting this year out ranked 22nd in the country. No one believed in us but ourselves, and we were able to win that championship behind one of the top 10 defenses of all time. If you got this far and enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button and be on the lookout for the junior season of Bobby Boucher.
I like school, and I like football, and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good.